So welcome everybody. This is our just for today. Do not anger. And we'll be talking in depth about anger in a different variable from last week, but continuing on from last week of anger being a reaction, right? It's a secondary response to a feeling. And we looked at those feelings last week as being injustice, unfairness, lack of acknowledgement, thoughtlessness, etc. And someone has said that they felt anger from mostly from within. But when you look at that anger and say, like, what am I, as a self-inquiry of what am I really angry about? What is the source of this anger? Then you have something that you can work through. But if you're just saying you're angry, and sometimes you don't know what you're angry at. And the reason why you don't know that you're angry is because you walk away from a lunch, a meeting, sometimes with friends, and you get angry and you're irritated and you're annoyed, but you're not really sure what at. You're having a reaction because you really haven't quite processed the diminishing, the slight, the gaslighting, the passive aggressiveness, the entitlement that was exhibited by someone that you cared about. But rather than saying, oh, I can't believe they've done that, they said that, believe it, and believe it quickly. Because that sometimes is you not really seeing the person because you want to like them for whatever reason, but they keep hurting you. And you have to ask, why is it I keep going back for more? Or this person gets a pass because I lack the articulation in the space of how I'm being treated or how I'm being diminished and how I'm being... So that can be that. But we'll talk about the anger from the outside at the end. I want to kind of go into this kind of more inner anger. That if people don't really acknowledge, it can be the source of not being able to be in the frequency of abundance, not being able to be in that frequency of fulfillment. Because there's another part of anger that's not just a quick reaction, right? The reaction that's anger from something that has been, injustice, slight, whatever you want to call it, or whatever it is that you're going through. But there's a seething anger. And seething anger can be, that's the one that is, that makes you sick, that brings in illness and disease. The reactionary anger is out, it's explosive, you're getting it out, you're mad, you shout. But the seething anger is the one that you have to pretend that you're not angry. The seething anger is the one that you smile, but you're angry. And that seething, low-burning amber of anger can be very, very damaging over a long period of time with, say, dynamics in families. You know, there's an expression in Scotland when someone's white-livered, and it's very attached to the liver. because it means that they are real calm and cool, but they'll never show it. They'll never show that it's really got to them, and they're seething, whatever they're seething at. And then there's another one to do with the liver that someone told me. I think it was from South America. It might be Argentina. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Shout out to all the Argentinians. That says, oh, did you just walk across my liver? And that is when someone has deliberately shaded you, done something to put you down, and there's a seethingness. But maybe it's something that you put up with, you know, and the seething can be in a job when, say, a boss or someone in the company is always throwing you under the bus or diminishing you or ridiculing you. Maybe not so much now, but it still happens. It's very cloaked. It's part of the kind of systemicness. And that seething anger can sometimes be that reaction of don't show that they've hurt you. Don't show that they've got to you. And but over a long period of time, that's the one that really gets you sick. That can really kind of affect your central nervous system. Because you have to then do this mutation. You have to do this act. You have to play pretend that you're not. Because you sometimes lack it's just a lack of articulation. It's a lack of verbiage. Non-violently to be able to say what really is going on and that you're not going to participate, or that you would like them to stop. You need them to stop because it's unfair, unjust, etc. And this is the times that we're in. We're in those times where people are not putting up and shutting up like they used to. And because they know it makes them sick, it makes them ill. And, you know, pick your poison. You know, there's many labels for diseases, but it depends where you have a weak link, right? Some people's it's central nervous system. Some people it's autoimmune. Some people it's back pain. Someone doesn't have their back. You know, some people it is thyroid stuff. It's glandular. And then there's the other, when we find ourselves, you know, in that seething anger, that can be a mask for jealousy. You know, everybody pretends that they're not jealous. I don't have a jealous bone in my body. Really? Dogs are jealous of one another. Lions are jealous of one another. Right? So there's this narrative that we create in our head that jealousy and envy doesn't exist. And if you feel jealous, you know, what really are you jealous about? You're jealous that that person got a break. You're jealous that things just work out for them, but you don't know the work that they're doing to create that and to stay in that mindset, or, you know, the work that they do behind the scenes that they don't really share, because they also know people will jealous and they will envy. So people will try and protect themselves, because jealousy and envy historically leads or led to murder before there was DNA or you know, people that were crime units that looked at things. Because people would kill people over jealousy and envy. That's what the word coveting comes from. Because coveting leads to murder. That's why thou shalt not covet. And jealousy and envy, you know, can also be debilitating at your own manifesting. but it is a seething anger that, why them? Why not me? And it's, rather than ignore it, when you catch it by the tail, you can then pivot into, oh, I'm so grateful that I was feeling that, but I'm so happy for them that that's happened for them, and I'm recognizing that, so I'm in that vibe, I'm in that energy. Because why wouldn't I be happy for my friend? Why wouldn't I be happy for, a stranger? Because I want people to be happy for me, but we know that that's not true. We just know. We know people sometimes aren't happy for us. That's the reality. We're not living in a Disney film. And I like to work with reality. Any questions? This is a good one. Thank you for bringing that up, Eleni. I'm going to paraphrase, but there's a phrase by Teddy Roosevelt, basically, Theodore, the president back in the 1900s. And, he was very exciting. And he basically was like, if you don't have your hat in the ring, you're just a spectator. Your opinion doesn't count. But it doesn't stop people having opinions and being opinionated, because it's a pastime. People sit there on their couch with their big bag of popcorn and they pick fault at people who have trained really hard in the Olympics or any kind of sport and, have opinions about what they're doing. Or someone that's on stage doing a bit, doing a comedy, and they think it's really easy just to get up there and feel that pressure, and they have opinions. Everybody's a critic. So that's sometimes that seething anger that goes unrecognized because someone's doing something that you're not doing, or you have a blockage in. And sometimes that's the critic. I call it spectator syndrome. Where they like to ridicule the play-by-play of whatever anybody else is doing. But really, sometimes that is a jealousy and an envy. How come you get to get up there and do your thing? But that seething anger can sometimes be missed because it's not as obvious as the reactionary anger that's explosive, erupting. The seething anger is much more insidious. We just need to look at Tulsa, the Tulsa massacre. The jealousy and the envy of a community that was flourishing. A black community that was flourishing. And they burned it to the ground. It wasn't the only one. There was many others around that same period. And this is the thing historically that we know. That's why people are sometimes a little, they like to keep things to themselves because they sometimes know people they don't want anything bad to happen to you, but they don't want anything good to happen for you. Because they understand that seething anger that really is a mask for jealousy and envy. And how that has led to, people getting poisoned, people, not being in favor, people being, the systemic violence on folks that are trying to get ahead. And that's something that sometimes holds a lot of people back because they fear being seen. They fear the actual aspect of shining their light. You know, I'm going to read something because I think it kind of goes, I think this is it in a nutshell. And I love what she says. I love Marianne Williamson's words here. But I want to fill in some blanks for us, because I think this is just as important. And I forgot to bring it up earlier, but I want to kind of like see it now, because I think it's a blow-by-blow account of what she puts here. And I'm going to fill in the reasons why. The reality of the reasons why. Because sometimes we can make positive affirmations and they're just pretty little lies. Because sometimes we have to shift something. And when we tell ourselves pretty little lies, we cheat ourselves from collapsing whatever it is that's holding us back. So here it goes. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. Now, why does it frighten us? Because we know that when we shine, we're seen. We know that when we shine, people are jealous. We know that when we shine, people think, who does she think she is? We know that when we shine, people resort to violence. We know that when we shine, people put us down. We know that when we shine, people sometimes aren't happy for us. The next part of it goes, we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. You playing small does not serve the world. And she is right there. It doesn't serve the world, because what it does is it allows the haters to not be activated, to burn through their jealousy and envy. And then we cheat the people that would enjoy us doing what we're here to do. But the fear of retribution, the fear of ridicule, the fear of being taken to task, the fear of being bullied, the fear of mean people, the fear of haters stops it. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. And it's not that there is nothing enlightened about shrinking. It is about the propensity of insecure people. And what insecure people are capable of doing to you when they get mad, when they become jealous, when you get that extension on the house, when you get that new car, when you go on those trips. When you start to be acknowledged for whatever. You get credit. What they do is they recognize the credit, but they don't recognize the work that was involved in doing it. Because their trigger is not getting recognized. And then thus again we come in the back door of jealousy and envy and this anger, the seething anger that we've been talking about. So let's go back to Marianne Williamson's famous quote. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. And that is true. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. Yes. And we are, and as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we liberate from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that is true. But you're going to have to get a fortified field of energy to allow those around you to go from jealousy, envy, and hating you into, you know what? I used to be so jealous of you, but now you're my biggest inspiration. You're going to have to allow people, and sometimes people that you care for and you love, to have that transformation, and you feel it. You might not want to stick around, but if it's family, it can be a little bit more, because sometimes family members are jealous and envious. Oh, well, here she goes. She thinks she knows, you know, and there's an envy in that they aren't as connected to their mission or their purpose, that you're being driven by something. And sometimes it's in the guise, well, you know, I'm only doing it because I'm worried about you. I don't want you to be ridiculed. I don't want you to be judged. But you're already being ridiculed and judged by your own. So that seething anger, historically we understand what that's all about. We know it's burnt villages. We know it's burnt cities. We know it has been at the hands of lots of atrocities, and we're coming out of generational PTSD from it. So when we look at our own, I want you to really look at your own jealousy and envy, which is your seething anger. How come them? Why not me? Well, maybe they're doing something you're not doing. Maybe you should ask them, what is it you're doing that I'm not doing? I'm not getting the results that you're getting. That could be even in a workout. It might be even as simple as someone next to you in yoga. Maybe someone that's doing track with you or running with you, but they seem to be kind of getting through, or they might be getting through their menopause better than you are. And what is it they're doing that I'm not doing? That's seething anger. And we don't talk about it enough. We talk about it in the Pause and Joy community when we're tapping, because in this community, we know that if we don't acknowledge it, it actually affects our own abundance, our own ability to manifest. But it's a tough one because it has a blind spot. It has many blind spots. You know, anger is not a mental illness. It can result in things that are extremely violent, but it is not a mental illness. It is a lack of a spiritual practice that does not lead to self-inquiry. Of why am I so angry? What is going on with me? But when we create this narrative around anger that we shouldn't feel angry, we do ourselves a disservice, because sometimes if you say, oh, you know what, I am angry, I'm seething, I'm jealous, you know, why am I jealous of my friend? Oh, they worked so hard at this. You know, I feel like, you know, I've worked hard and I don't get recognized where I'm at. You know, and it brings up a thing for you, and maybe you're at the wrong place. Maybe you're at a place that will never acknowledge you, that will never credit you, that will never recognize how much work that you do. So maybe it's time for you to leave that space because it's not a place for you to flourish. Maybe it's time for you to start your own thing. Maybe it's time for you to recognize and value your talents. But if you don't go through this process, you don't know. So the just for today, do not anger to me is, just for today, do not anger, because it's just going to expel so much energy, but rather take it as a nugget of information, and then look and unpack that nugget of like, what is this anger about? Is it informing me of something? I keep staying at this job that I'm not getting a promotion in, I'm not getting acknowledged in. Then why am I still here? Be angry, but be in the anger and transmute it into a place that you can ask yourself, oh, they're never going to give me that. I have to give that to myself. I have to value me. I have to value my talents. I have to value my gifts. You know, don't get, you know, when you say don't get mad, get even. You know, don't get mad. Don't get angry. You know, get activated. And laugh. Be like, wow, why am I being such a fool thinking these people are going to promote me when I need to promote me to CEO of my own company? Right? It's that. And then sometimes then you have to work through the fear of that. But then once you acknowledge it, you can do something about it. If you don't even know and you just keep being in the seething anger that you're not getting acknowledged, it can be worse. So, you know, there really is a soft center to it that sometimes is sadness. Sadness that someone won't give you that. Sadness that I thought they were more evolved than that. See if it's a friend. Sadness that they can't be happy for me. You know? But at first it's like anger. So anger can be have many masks, as I said earlier. But I want you to practice this week, if you're feeling that jealousy and envy from people, be like, wow, I really am doing something that is causing a reaction, and that's not my place to take them off the ledge anymore. I mean, we're in great times, you know, because they can't kill you and dispose of you as easily as they used to do. So now they can, they just have to endure you in your joy. Gosh. That's why joy is an act of rebellion. Joy is powerful. When you really decide to enjoy what you're here to do, it is transformational. But with that, you need tools to get you through all of the systems, all of the systemicness, all of the violence, all of the jealousy, the anger, the loathing, the diminishing, the meanness, and feel that protection of your own energetic field by owning what you're here to do. But that's something that has to be in the world, I think, and I think that's why we're feeling this energy, because this is a time where more people are deciding that they are going to start a business online, they're going to do their innovation, they're going to do their creation, even at that angry side eye. Who do they think they are? It's an old one, but it's a goodie. Right? Because that used to be able to keep you in your place through the class system, through race, through caste systems, all sort. That was how they kept you in your place. Because that was only for those and the like of those, of kings and aristocracy and noble men and women. So now this is the time of, you know, you can do something, you could write a book, you could do anything, and they have to endure. Oh, you can always tell it's a voice that, oh, I'm so happy for you. Oh, sounds it. It's excruciating. And, you know, you are here to, as Marianne Williamson says, I will read that line again, you know, we are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. but we know. Because we've seen through history people that brought that glory forward, how they were put in towers, killed, executed, paraded through the town square, the villages. How dare you think you're all that? You have no business being that. That's what you were told. So we're really in fantastical times. Don't you agree? It's so joyful to be able to have this freedom. And you should use it. And use it wisely. I think that's enough for tonight. I think that was a lot. And I will see you next Thursday. If you have any questions or any suggestions for next week, do let me know and I will address them. But that was so amazing that we get to have this space together and discuss these very important topics that people, you know, when you don't admit it, you can't shift it. And I'm all about it. I'm not about hypotheticals. It's of no interest to me. Hypothetically, how people should celebrate. Hypothetically, how you're going to choose you without you collapsing any of these fears of choosing you. And I'll see you on Saturday for that workshop. But I'm not into hypotheticals or things that don't look at the areas of excavation that we all need to excavate to be in that light, to be in that shine. Because then it's just all words that sounds nice and it's a great paragraph, but it really isn't built into reality in people's lives, and there's like things between the lines there of the reasons why people don't shine. So I hope that's been helpful for you. And it's so layered with bullying. You know, I mean, it's the sociopaths and the psychopaths that ruled the world, that wrote history. Don't forget that. They were all, you know, the people that were their advisors was Machiavellian. Telling them how to manipulate. So I hope that's helpful. And I'll post this and, you know, we'll do it again next week. And the next week after that. Yes, we're really going in on the Just for Today, Do Not Anger for the month. And then we'll do another one. So that was awesome. And I will see you next week. Same time, same place. Love you. Bye.